Hello, scrappy friends. Welcome back to my channel. Today I am using the Journals for Life book pages kit to document the book that I'm reading right now, which is Long Live the Pumpkin Queen. This is a really fun, it's a young adult book, but it's about Halloween, and when I saw it, I had to pick it up. So what I just showed on the screen was the Journals for Life pocket die set. And so what I did is I made a pocket out of craft paper because it, to me, reminded me of the old-fashioned book checkout book pockets from the library. And that's kind of the look I was going for on this page. The pre-printed page in the Journals for Life notebook is a bookshelf. And I thought that would go great since I'm documenting a book. And so what I'm wanting to do is put down this pocket. I'm actually putting some double-sided tape on the edges so I can secure it to the Traveler's Notebook page. I'm using double-sided tape because I think it'll be a stronger adhesive. I know it'll be a stronger adhesive than just a tape runner. And then what I'm doing is inside the kit came this old-fashioned book checkout card, and I'm going to use that for my journaling. I took one of the ephemera pieces from the kit, which was some stacked books and I believe a coffee cup on top, and I stapled that to the top of the card so it would work as a tag. So now what I'm doing is trying to figure out what embellishments I want to put around my picture. And as always, got to refill the tape runner. I put my picture down slightly askew just because it felt, I wanted sort of a whimsical feel to this page since it is sort of a fun book that I'm reading. So these dark maroon flowers, first off, are just gorgeous, but I also think they had sort of a dark Halloweenish type vibe. Not really, but they're just a great fall color, and I was looking for something dark to go with this Halloween theme. The character on the book obviously has a dark orange hair and like an orange sash on her dress, and so the dark flowers worked really well. I also put one of the owl embellishments up in my cluster up there. I also thought that had kind of a spooky look to it. So now I want to put my title on top of the book pocket. And from that same die set, I cut out a large book plate. I think it's called a book plate. And then it was in a kind of a cream color. And then just to make it decorative, because it looked really plain on its own, I used one of the tags to decorate it, and then the second owl embellishment. I'm now using some stamps from my stash. I think these are an Allie Edwards Laura Wansick collaboration stamp. And it also has a really funky font, which I thought went well with sort of the funky atmosphere I'm going with this page. So I'm laying down the stamps because I want to make sure the words are going to fit. It was a smaller stamp set, and it actually ends up working. But so what I do to make sure that the word fits is I'm stamping the last and the first letters first, and then I'm going to fill in the rest of the word. And that way, if I need to overlap letters, it works, but I know it's all going to fit in. And so this word that I'm doing right here is Halloween, and so it's a longer word, and so I wanted to make sure it would fit. So I'm using the edge of this tag as sort of my line of how I want to line up my word so it is straight. And what I do, so right there I ended up stamping a little bit lower than I had originally wanted. And so because the tag, or no, I should say the label has a little bit, I shouldn't even say height, you don't really notice it until I stamped. There was a part of the stamp that did not tape to the book plate. And the easy way to solve that, rather than restamping and maybe making a mess of my stamping, I just took my black journaling pen and I filled in the little holes where the ink did not adhere down to the page. And it worked out really well, and you barely notice. So my title is This is Halloween, because that is a line from a song that is in this original movie of The Nightmare Before Christmas. So it just seemed to fit. It came to my mind when I was documenting this book. So I am just finishing up stamping that title. I tend to put my stamps right back on the sheet that they come on, especially the smaller alpha stamps, because my desk can get really cluttered, and if I don't put them away right away, I will lose one. And that would be the worst thing, to have an alphabet stamp that you like and then you're missing like a key letter that then you can't use to make words. So it took me a little extra time on the video to put those away, but I needed to do that. So let's see. Now what I'm doing, I just pulled out the Weekend Wheels stamp set from Journals for Life. It is a really fun, it's got some old-fashioned Volkswagen cars on there, plus just some holiday stamps. And I wanted to pull out the little pumpkin because I thought the pumpkins would go really well with this page. Before I stamp those, I am working on making some clusters. I wanted more of those red flowers, and so the large one is a die cut, but I'm using some of the smaller maroon flowers from the sticker sheet. I end up making a cluster around my book plate and then another one below the picture. And then I don't think I mentioned earlier, originally I was going to take a picture of the actual book, and then I thought, you know, what would be easier is just find a picture off the internet. And it was actually a really good quality, and I just, in Photoshop, blew up the image and then printed it out on a 4x6 photo paper. So now I'm just moving some things around because I changed my mind of what I wanted. I pulled up the sticker. I'm going to use a little bit of the book washi tape. It's got stacked books, I think a teacup, some, what are those called at the end that holds the book in place? The bookends. So I put a little bit of washi tape down. You can see I did stamp, must have done that off camera. I stamped a couple of the pumpkins, and I will go back and do more of those. There are two sizes of pumpkins in the Weekend Wheels stamp set, a larger one and then a smaller one. And I use these almost like I would use enamel dots, just sort of like a scattering of something smaller in my clusters. I didn't want the dimension of something like an enamel dot, but I needed something to kind of round out my clusters. So this red sticker that I'm dealing with, I can't quite decide where I want it. I really like it up at the top, and that's where I end up keeping it. But I was debating if it made like a fourth cluster rather than the three that I was going for. It ended up looking like a little too crowded down at the bottom, so I leave it where it is. I end up adding some more embellishments to that little small bluish owl at the bottom. Here I am filling in my clusters with a few more pumpkin stamps. I'm using a Catherine Pooler brown stamp ink for this. I liked the dark brown color rather than using like a black. I don't have a whole lot of black on this page other than the title, so I'm using a brown to stamp my pumpkins. I was looking, there was a little bit of difficulty in my stamping because I had a thicker embellishment on a different page. It ended up working fine. I got my stamps down just fine. And now, even after I stamp those smaller pumpkins, I think I end up covering them up because I wanted to have something a little bit more substantial in that cluster, and a stack of books worked perfect. Really fit in with the theme of what I was going for. So now I'm just finishing off this page, end up doing a couple more stamping. Oh, there it is, the macchiato. That is a great Catherine Pooler color. Really like that. So as I said, I'm finishing things up. This page is pretty much done. I am going to need to do my journaling on my tag, and I basically just write that I am starting this book. I haven't even gotten that far through it to even give a good review of it, but the front of the journaling is basically that I'm starting this book. I'm really excited. I think it's really going to put me in the Halloween mood. And then I left the back side of the card blank because I think I will put a review when I finish the book. I'm using the add-on flowers, and I made them into paper clips, and so I'm adding the orange one to this because I just think it adds some fun color and goes with the orange in the character's hair. If you have any questions about this page or the products I used, leave me a comment below and I will get back to you as soon as I can. Thank you for watching.